British Isles are an archipelago of over 6,000 islands, spanning over 1,000 kilometres, all supporting many types of habitats. In this film, I am focusing on one group of habitats in particular, uplands. Uplands make up about 1/3 of all habitats on the islands. They are habitats characterised by many different natural formations, like bogs, heath, grasslands, and rocky outcrops. Another characteristic of this habitat is given away by its name, as they are typically found at altitudes above 250 to 400 metres. This is the uplands Heather Moorland in the Peak District National Park in Derbyshire, England. At first glance, you cannot see much here except heather and rock. The national park's eastern side is characterised by many rocky outcrops of gritstone or millstone grit, who has formed magnificent shapes through weathering and erosion. It is made up of compressed sand that existed in a shallow sea in the Paleozoic era, over 350 million years ago. You would be forgiven for thinking that this place is desolate and devoid of diversity. But if you take a closer inspection, you can see that an incredible landscape is carpeted by a diversity of species of plants. Many species of berry-bearing plants can be found here that bear berries that are a food source for many of the local bird species, like these crowberries, who in June will bear black berries. These are cowberries, or lingonberries, who will fruit red berries in July. The small pink flowers of bilberries, relatives of the popular blueberries, awaiting pollinating insects to fertilise their seeds, which will be distributed in their fruits by the droppings of birds. On the surface of the rocks there are lichens, a symbiosis of both algae and fungus. They grow really slowly and can have a lifespan that can last thousands of years. Many species of mosses can be found here, blanketing the rocks and the ground. They are some of the earliest kinds of plants and have existed before flowering plants appeared on this earth. Instead of reproducing by seeds, they reproduce by producing spores. They have been on this planet longer than many of the gritstone they may grow on, almost 500 million years ago, making them one of the oldest families of plants. They are comprised of 15,000 to 25,000 species in every continent on Earth. Here in the UK alone, there are over 1,000 species. The famous sphagnum moss fossilise and after thousands of years form peat, the base soil of vast swathes of land around the world that globally cover 3% of the Earth's land surface. Further to the southwest in the county of Devon, moorlands look quite different from those of the Peak District. Here, instead of gritstone, there is tors of granite that in geological terms is slightly younger, formed around 280 million years ago. Instead of heathers, Dartmoor National Park is characterised by vast swathes of grass, with species such as bristlebent, common bent, sheep's fescue and matgrass. These grasses provide food for many of the large wild mammals of the southwest of England, like Exmoor ponies, a unique breed of pony and the closest descendant of the wild horses of Europe, which reached Britain around 130,000 years ago, before rising sea levels isolated the island from the continent. But uplands are not just important to wild animals in the UK. They are also important for providing something else, without of which people who live in the UK would not survive. Water. UK uplands receive an astonishing 2,000 millimetres of rain a year. For reference, that's more than some tropical rainforests. As a result, they provide over 70% of all the UK's drinking water. It is the unique nature of these habitats that retain water in such large quantities. So be thankful for uplands, as they are the lifeblood for us on this spectacular island.